Hi everybody, this is Lindsay Buckel and I'm doing my color, pacing, size, and modality video. I apologize, I'm at home now, I'm not at school anymore, so anyway, okay, so I'm going to start with color. Something I like to do with my students to really solidify the idea of minor versus major is assign a color. I usually do blue for minor and yellow for major. So I would sing them a song and they would have to hold up the color card that they think it is. For example, I would do E Huanga, which is a traditional Native American song. E Huanga, E Huanga, Gagagi Sojima, E Huanga. They would hold up the blue. And then I might do 4 white horses on the river, hey, 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 up tomorrow. Then we hold up the yellow. I also like to add in some pop songs that they know and see if they can figure out if it is in minor or major. For size, I do work with older students doing voice lessons, so what I might do on a solo that they are working on is I will make a copy of it so that instead of using the orchestration or piano part, I'll cut that out and I'll copy just the solo line for my students. And I have a couple of students that have difficulties with visual impairment, and I will blow up just the vocal line for them so it's bigger and easier to read. I also do tend to do that during musicals because, as you probably many of you know, the choral parts can get really thick and just really confusing. So I will cut out the unnecessary information and give them just the line that they are singing. For pacing, something I like to do is I'll give a direction and I will keep it very simple, very short, and I use fingers. I usually do them in sets of 3. So take a seat, find a partner, get a pencil. Then I will have them repeat it back to me. So they have to say exactly what I said back to them. I will then write it up on my smartboard in my classroom for them to see. So that's the way that they can reiterate, they can see it, they can hear it, all those different things, and make sure that the directions are understood. For modality, I have a couple things I like to do. One of my favorites with my voice lesson students is my Hoberman sphere. You can get these on Amazon. They're awesome, and they are a great visual when teaching breathing. So if I can show you here. The great part is you can put it right down low, right here where you want them to breathe from, and as they breathe in, a lot of the times the students suck in their stomach and everything contracts and they aren't able to take in the breath that they need. But if they use a Hoberman sphere and while they inhale they open the ball, that kind of gives them more of a visual of what should be going on in here. So like this. And I make sure they do it slowly so that they are not gasping for air. So sometimes I like to tell them, act surprised. How would you do it if you act surprised? And they'd be like, that's okay as long as there's no noise being made. But usually I do it slower and then letting out the air, slowly closing that so they get the visual. They're not expensive, they're awesome, they get really big, and that's a Hoberman sphere. For oral adaptations, what I like to do is, again, in voice lessons when I'm teaching them a solo, they're getting a new solo, I send them into a practice room with a computer and I tell them they need to find 3 different people singing the solo, and then they have to listen to all 3 of them, follow along in their music as they listen to them, and that gives them a couple different adaptations of the song, helps them to learn how the song kind of flows and how it works, and also they're not listening to just one style, they're really kind of listening to all different styles, and then they can use that to adapt and make it their own. So I usually will have them listen to things and say like, what did you like about this person? What did you not like? What's some things that you would like to try and include in your piece? What are some expressive things that they did? Things like that. And then for visual, I do this thing with my younger students where we will take turns. We'll listen to a piece of music, and I usually make it from a movie, which they love. And I give them all a piece of paper. I give them crayons, pencils, pens, markers, and I tell them, draw what you hear. It's a great way to go towards interpreting music, and what makes music create certain emotions. I do this during my movie unit especially. So I will play the theme from How to Train Your Dragon, and they go for it. They draw while they listen, and they color and all this stuff, and then I open the discussion up. What did you draw? Why? What instrument told you that this is what's happening? Or dynamics, things like that. And then quite often I'll relate it to a classical piece of music. So for example, I will play the Darth Vader March from Star Wars, which they all know and love, and they'll draw some big war picture, or they'll draw Vader or whatever. And then I will play Mars, Bringer of War by Gustav Holst, and I'll say, okay, draw for this picture. Then I'll have them compare. What are the similarities that you had in both pictures? Why do you have those similarities? What's similar in the music that made you think, oh, this is what these songs are about? It works really great. The kids love it, and it gives them a chance to be really creative in a different way than they're used to doing in music class. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.